All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today, we're going to be looking at financial planning and analysis. We found a really interesting source that lays out some best practices, and we're going to get into all that.
Sounds good.
So, if you think about it, every business kind of needs a roadmap, right? To figure out how to be successful, and strong financial planning is that roadmap. So that's what helps you make good decisions about how to use your resources right and ultimately get to where you want to be.
Yeah, exactly. It's like setting yourself up for success.
So one of the things that really jumped out at me from this source was how important it is to make sure that your financial goals are aligned with like your big picture business objectives.
Yeah.
Like, why is that so important? What happens when businesses don't do that?
Well, I think it's all about sustainability, right? You can try to make a quick buck, but if you don't have a clear strategy, those gains can be pretty short-lived.
Right.
It's like having a really powerful engine, but no steering wheel. You might go fast, but you're not going to end up where you want to be. Aligning your financial goals with your overall business strategy just makes sure that every financial decision you make is actually helping you in the long run.
So you're saying it's not just about, making money. It's about making sure that those financial decisions are moving you in the right direction.
Exactly. Think about a company like Kodak. They were huge in the photography world, but when digital cameras came around, they really struggled to keep up.
Right. They didn't adapt.
They might have made good financial decisions in the short term, but they didn't see the bigger picture, and that ultimately hurt them in the end.
Yeah, that's a great example.
You got to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, and this source is also really excited about all this data and analytics stuff, especially when it's happening in real time.
Real-time data is a game changer.
So tell me more about that. How is that changing the game?
It's like having your finger on the pulse. You can react to things instantly, and that means more opportunities and fewer risks. Imagine you're a retailer and you see that a certain product is suddenly selling like crazy in one area.
Okay, yeah.
With real-time data, you can adjust your inventory, your marketing, even your prices right there on the spot.
That's wild.
And you can ride that wave before it crashes. That kind of agility just wasn't possible before.
It's almost like having a crystal ball, right? But it's actually based on data.
Exactly. And the kind of data you can use is pretty amazing, like social media sentiment analysis. You can track how people feel about your brand, your products, even your competitors in real time. That can inform your marketing, your product development, even customer service. It's all connected.
So now we're getting into some stuff that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. Scenario planning.
Yeah, it's futuristic, but it's actually very practical.
Okay, so I'm intrigued, but I also have to ask, how practical is this really?
It's all about being prepared, right? You're not actually predicting the future, but you're exploring different possibilities, both good and bad. So you run simulations, you model different outcomes, and that helps you find weaknesses in your plan and come up with ways to deal with risks or take advantage of unexpected opportunities.
So it's like instead of being surprised, you're kind of mentally preparing for different situations.
Exactly like in the energy industry. They use scenario planning to model the shift to renewable energy. They look at government policies, technology, consumer demand, all sorts of things. And that helps them make smart investments that can withstand any future changes.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's shift gears a little bit. The source also talks about how important automation is when it comes to forecasting.
Spreadsheets are great, but automation takes it to a whole new level.
And let's be honest, spreadsheets are a financial analyst's best friend.
Yeah.
But automation can be a huge help.
Totally. It's not just about saving time and reducing errors. It's about using way more sophisticated forecasting models.
Okay.
Imagine being able to analyze massive amounts of data to predict things like revenue and cash flow super accurately. That lets you make really smart decisions about investments, resource allocation, even things like hiring.
So it's not about replacing humans, it's about giving them better tools.
Exactly. Think about something called Monte Carlo simulation.
Okay.
It uses random sampling to model a whole bunch of different possible outcomes.
Oh, wow.
So you get a much better understanding of risk and opportunity. And automation makes those complex calculations something you can actually use every day.
Yeah, that's really powerful.
Makes it a lot easier.
So this source is also a big fan of collaboration.
Yeah.
Breaking down those walls between departments and getting everybody involved in financial planning.
It's a team effort.
Yeah. Why is that so important?
Because financial planning shouldn't happen in a bubble, right? You need input from sales, marketing, operations, everybody. That way you get a more complete and realistic plan. And when everyone's working together, you avoid those miscommunications that can be really costly.
So teamwork makes the dream work.
Absolutely. Think about a software company making a new product. The engineers can tell you about development costs. Marketing knows about customer acquisition. Sales has projections. It all feeds into a much better financial plan.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we're wrapping up here, and the source gives a few final recommendations. Things like monitor your key performance indicators, review and update your plans regularly, make risk management a priority, and invest in good financial analysts.
Solid advice.
So what's the big takeaway here?
It's about being flexible with your financial planning.
Okay.
It's not something you do once and then forget about it. You have to constantly keep an eye on things, spot risks, adjust your plans, and make sure you have the right people to handle the ever-changing business world.
It sounds like the key is to stay agile, informed, and always be learning.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And remember, these principles can apply to your personal life, too.
Oh, that's a good point.
Think about saving for a house. You set goals, you track your progress, you adjust as needed. It's the same idea.
So this has been a really interesting deep dive. Thanks for all your insights.
Happy to be here.
And to our listeners, we'd love to hear from you. What stuck with you from this episode? How can you use these principles in your own financial planning? For your business or even your personal life? Keep learning and keep
growing. Next time.
We'll see you then.